NIH grants, specifically STTR grants. And I want to thank the RDLA, the Every Life Foundation, for having us here today. I've been working with them since almost the inception of the company. I spoke at a caucus a few years ago. I'm sorry I did not bring our eye candy, Johnny Lee Miller, with me this time, but maybe next time. But thank you for having us. You guys do great work. And by the way, I was a last minute throw in replacing somebody, and I finished these slides this morning, so cut me some slack, okay? So I'm going to tell you our story, our love story. For most of the families in this room that have children with rare diseases, you know where I'm standing. And so this is really for the staffers that are in the back, and I hope you can see our slides, because I really want to scare you into helping us. I met my husband, Jeremy. I picked him up in a bar in Hell's Kitchen. At the time, Jeremy worked in film, and I worked in fashion. We fell in love and lived in a tiny apartment in the Lower East Side of New York. Life was awesome. Our son Jonah was born in 2008. My pregnancy was typical. There was nothing wrong. He was the light of our lives, just absolutely amazing. Our pediatrician called him out because he had a large head. Each one of us carries several mutations, and it's just a matter of hooking up with the right person and passing that mutation on down to your child. If it happened to me, it can happen to you. So those staffers out there that are finding families, I want you to listen up, okay? This is ground zero, diagnosis day. Like many of you, you're sitting in the office and you have absolutely no idea that your doctor is going to drop this bomb on you, that your child has an ultra-rare genetic disease. There's no treatment. There's no cure. I was very lucky in that my geneticist told me to fight his fate, that I didn't have to take him home and make him comfortable, that there was science here today that was not dreamt up possible 5 years ago. With Jonah's early diagnosis, he was the youngest child to have ever been diagnosed asymptomatic without an older sibling, and that gave us the chance to hit the ground running. We didn't know he couldn't hear. He had 50% hearing loss. He was only 2 years old. We got the tubes put in his ears. He could hear. We got early intervention. We got speech therapy. We also started an investigational experimental drug as well, where many families don't have that opportunity. On average, kids with MPS IIIC, since it's so rare, nobody knows what they're looking at, they don't get diagnosed until the age of 6. By that time, the disease has set in. So this is my big plea for newborn screening. I would love to see other families have the same chance that Jonah has. Here's some little facts about Sanfilippo syndrome for those of you that don't know, but it follows along what many of us have. My son doesn't create an enzyme that's supposed to break down a sugar molecule called heparan sulfate, and because of that, it's stored in the lysosomal varicose. So it's a lysosomal storage disease. There's about 50 of them. I see many of you here that are part of this family of lysosomal storage diseases. John Crowley, Megan is Pompe. She is also a lysosomal storage disease. So when you have this crap that's sitting in every cell of your body, you can imagine what happens. By all means, my son is now 8.5 years old, and he shouldn't have been able to talk right now. He should be stumbling and falling, that he is in the best shape that anybody could ever imagine. And I credit this to our very early diagnosis. So immediately, again, Columbia, I've heard many people talk good things about Columbia, and I will echo that. We held a patient population meeting in Columbia about a year after Joey was diagnosed. And we brought the leading scientists that were working on treatments in this space. And we hashed it out. It took us 2 days. We hashed out what are the best options for us. And we settled on gene therapy, substrate reduction, and some small molecules chaperones. We immediately started funding these guys. We created our mouse model. We started our patient population search. We had to go global. There's only 20 kids in the United States that have MPS IIIC that we know of. Allegedly, it occurs in 1.4 million. And then we created our patient registry. And unfortunately, I'm not doing this alone. And so I have to give a big shout out to my families around the world that are working globally with me. Together we call our consortium HANDS. And we fund this science together because I can't hold that many bake sales. But it still wasn't enough. It's not enough to fund all this science by ourselves. And so, just like John Crowley, he was actually a major inspiration to me. I created my own biotech, virtual biotech. And what we do is that we apply for NIH grants called STTR grants, and they're small business grants that are meant to grow the science in the United States. Unfortunately, the NIH grants don't fund my science outside of the United States, so I have been funding Patty Dixon's lab at UCLA, LA Biomed, and we have won 3 different STTR grants with her, up to $2 million. We still have one pending because nobody has passed down the budget for this year's round of grants, so I'm waiting for the budget to be passed down and have somebody give me another $250,000. Here are my scientists. I just wanted to point them out. Alexi in Montreal and Brian in Manchester. And these are my fellows that are in the United States. So Phoenix Nest, my biotech, is in the process of licensing the science that my nonprofit funded. I mean, it's kind of funny that I have to go and pay for them to give me back the science that we paid for with bake sales. But that's the way it goes. With our STTR grants, these twins, they have a subtype of the same syndrome that Joey has, but theirs is type D, and it's much more attenuated. They are the only known twins in the United States with this disease. They're there. They're just being misdiagnosed. People have no idea what's going on. And I have been able, we're going to save these girls' lives with the grants that we have won through the STTR. And I'm not over-exaggerating that at all. If we can't keep this funding going, I can't afford to pay their enzyme replacement therapy. I have to have this funding. So in conclusion, this is my ask. I'm asking our staffers to go back to their bosses and hear us out, because this really, it could happen to you. It can happen to anybody. It's rare diseases occur in 1 in 10 people. Again, you've heard we've only 5% treatments. It's ridiculous. And the science really starts with the grassroots involvement, and then getting NIH involved, and then getting biotechs involved. Newborn screening is going to be a major help for us. And of course, I won't go into the Affordable Care Act because everybody else has. But I think we also need to think about strong leadership in the FDA. Janet Woodcock has been instrumental, and we really need to keep people like Janet Woodcock in the FDA who understand the orphan diseases and the differences of the orphan diseases, and that our children are dying right now, and they can't wait 4 years for our treatment. And maybe possibly think about creating a special division for rare diseases in general as well. So there's a lot to be done here, but I think we're on the right track as long as we can keep the support for our families, because we definitely need it. Thanks.
Jill, thank you. Obviously, there is a theme here today, and that's that the patient voice is really crucial in accelerating rare disease research and treatments and potentially cures for specific rare diseases. I mentioned our organization, PDSA, and we had received an award from PCORI last year to establish our own research guidelines and priorities. And I mentioned in my introduction that I had suffered from debilitating fatigue, and a lot of doctors say there's no correlation between a low platelet count and fatigue. Well, we know there is, but there's not a lot of research out there. So we have our own research fund now, and our teen and young adult population, this past year at our annual conference, they went ahead and they worked with one of our medical advisors, and they put the methodology together, and now we're going to fund our own research study into fatigue. And so I think in a lot of these rare diseases, that's where it starts. It starts with us. In addition, this year we received an award from NORD and the FDA to launch our own ITP Natural History Study Registry. We launched it on Tuesday, on Rare Disease Day, and within 24 hours we had 250 people enrolled in the registry. So I think it's an exciting time, for rare disease patients to be able to, accelerate this research forward. I think we have a few minutes.
One or two questions.
We have time for one or two questions. Would anybody in the audience? Yep.
You said